Hey guys, what's up? I just got a quick one for you today. I'm going to be talking about the $85,000 deal that I just turned down. Let's hop in. So I was just out and about running some errands, getting my hair done, sit down in the chair to get my blowouts, and I check my email and I see an $85,000 offer just sitting in my inbox. It's a dream, right? Not really. The offer was for, and I'm sure a lot of content creators, people with YouTube channels, large Instagram accounts, anything like that, this is not a completely foreign concept to you. It was an offer to purchase my YouTube channel. And this wasn't the first offer like that I've ever received. I've gotten several other offers for that before, and of course I've always said no, hence me sitting here. But I will say that this is probably the biggest one. I think the other offers were for like $30,000 and $40,000, so I guess I'm doing something right. But I thought this would be a good teaching moment to share the three things that I look at when I get these random offers. And this is obviously not just for selling YouTube channels, like that is kind of a random one. I use these three things for any type of deal or offer that I'm presented with. So the first thing that I look at when I get an offer is it legal and is it ethical? I could have sworn that selling YouTube channels was against YouTube's terms and conditions, but when I sat down to record this video, I actually couldn't find a black or white answer on that. So I don't know if that's something that's changed or if it's just hidden down in the terms somewhere where I couldn't find them. But either way, if this were something that I were truly considering going through with, I would probably pull in some type of legal counsel and or reach out to YouTube and confirm with them before agreeing to that, because that's important. I joke around, I say that I'm a goody-goody when it comes to this stuff, and I am. I'm very cautious about copyrights and making sure that I'm not, breaking any rules. Yes, it's boring. You can get away with things, of course, but you can also save yourself a lot of headache by doing things the right, honest way. Now, the other thing is, even if this were allowed or legal or whatever, is it ethical? And I think that's really where this issue, the bigger issue is for me, honestly, because I've built up this relationship with those of you watching. It's taken time, and it also requires an element of trust. If you're going to take my advice and go with it, you need to trust the source. And a lot of you have been watching for a while and have determined that I'm somebody that's worthy of your trust. What would it look like if some random dude just hopped on here and started selling you get rich quick schemes, which I'm like so much against? That would definitely breach the trust and the relationship that I've built with you all. And it's important to note that this doesn't just exist on YouTube. I mean, my personal brand, if you will, and my entire business extends far beyond YouTube. I have coaching, I have courses, I have a podcast, I have an Instagram account. These are all different ways that you all can engage with me. Those things could all take a hit if I pulled this like bait and switch on you and some random dude just started popping up on my channel. I have a feeling a lot of you would be resentful of that. Now, the next red flag about this situation, and probably the most important thing, and the thing I really want to talk about with you all, is the intellectual property issue. And this isn't just a thing that exists for YouTube channel sales, whether they're legal or not. This can have to do with Instagram accounts. It can have to do with sponsored content. It can have to do with course creation, talks that you give, presentations. These are all forms of intellectual property. Anything that you produce that is your own, you created it with your hands, with your brain, yourself, that's your IP or your intellectual property. And it's super important to protect that and to get compensated for that if you are going to let that loose. Basically, my YouTube channel contains like over 400 videos that were 100% made by me. They're all my original ideas, my strategies, my work being put into it, and my face showing up on it. That's IP. If I were to sell my YouTube channel, I would be selling that content along with it, which, has value, right? If I give a talk somewhere, I've often had people say, oh, cool, can we take the recording and sell it as a part of like a digital ticket? No. Or yes, you can, but it's going to come with a cost. I actually, for my agency, James and Park, one of the big things that we do is branding content. So I work with these channels and create content for them, hand it over to them with with rules, right? With a contract that outlines what they can do with that content, and it's theirs. But it's not a, $50 job. It's not priced the same as a sponsorship would be priced, because they're literally taking a video I've created and they're able to use it on their website, on their YouTube channel, whatever the case is. So you need to make sure that you're charging accordingly for that. And if I were to sell 400 videos and my channel, that would be a lot more than $85,000. I do the same thing for branded courses. You guys have probably, if you watch my Week in My Business series, you've seen some of the project I've worked on where I'm creating courses, just like I would for my own courses that I sell, selling them to another company, a course company, and then they can sell that and get the remaining profit from it. I get residuals from it as well, but they get the bulk of the profit from the course. They have to pay me upfront for that. And it's the same thing. They're buying my IP, so it comes at a steeper price than if you were to just ask me to, do a sponsored video or mention an affiliate link or something like that in one of my own courses. So think about the value that you're providing. Think about the value that your IP has. Anybody can rip off anybody on the internet nowadays. Anybody can watch my video and remake it and make their own version of it, right? As long as they're not straight up plagiarizing me, there's little that I can do to prevent somebody from basically just regurgitating my words. But what they can't do is they can't be me. They can't have the same connection with you all that I have for whatever reason that is. They are not going to have the same mannerisms. They're not going to be me. And that is something that you need to protect as an entrepreneur, and it should come with a price. There's actually a really sad but good example of this whole issue happening kind of in real time right now. If any of you are familiar with the bridal dress designer Haley Page, she came out recently, and I'll link her video down below. I'm not going to recap the whole thing, but basically she signed an employment agreement with a larger company. She wanted out of that contract, and what she didn't realize when she got out of that contract was that she had actually signed over the rights to her Instagram account, which was her Miss Haley Page Instagram account. It, has her own name assigned to it, but she actually signed that over in her employee agreement. So again, this is something where if I were hypothetically, which I'm not going to, if I were going to sell my YouTube channel, I would want to make sure that I have a lawyer involved to help negotiate all of those things. Is the name now being sold to these people? Does this affect any of my own usage of my name? Can I use my name in my business anymore? Am I selling them any corresponding social accounts? Am I selling them the rights to every single video, or is it just the account itself? Like, these things are all super important. And if you're not working with a lawyer, which I strongly recommend, if for some reason you're not, definitely be on the lookout for certain terms like in perpetuity, like using your likeness, anything that has to do with any of your other accounts. Because if you're selling, content or selling your YouTube channel or whatever, that should really have nothing to do with your Instagram account, right? So look out for those red flags and make sure that a contract is a negotiation. You can go back and forth on contracts. So if you see those things in a contract, make sure to call them out. The last thing that I think about is, does it feel safe? So, it kind of corresponds to some of the other issues of legality and things like that, but also, is this a real business? Like, what are the intentions behind this? He said he was having a competition with his friend, which didn't seem very legitimate. So I would definitely be researching this guy, Googling his email address, Googling his name, seeing if he has any type of digital footprint to try to understand what the intention is behind the purchase. And I would actually just ask him outright to explain what the intention was. I know it might sound like a little bit conspiracy theory, but unfortunately, there are bad actors on the internet, and I would hate to again betray your trust and have a random account pop up about something that is completely against my beliefs, my morals, and you never really know nowadays. So look out for that stuff. Google the person, do a thorough check, and of course have some type of legal counsel to, help advise you on that stuff as well. But I also have in my contracts when I'm selling that branded content, so those YouTube videos or those courses, basically they can't remix that content. So they get the content and that's what they get. They're not allowed to chop it up and make it sound like I'm endorsing somebody or giving a testimonial or a review of something that I actually didn't say. Because think about it, if you get access to 400 of my videos, you could easily stitch those words together and make it sound like I said something that I really didn't and put up a new YouTube video. And of course, look out for all the normal safety red flags. You know, was he gonna wire me a check? Did he need my bank account details? I mean, let's be honest, this was probably a scam, but who knows? If it wasn't a scam, you know, you would want to make sure that you're going through your regular payment processor, that you're having contracts, that you're doing all the things to double check to make sure that you're not going to be paid in some imaginary Bitcoin that never comes or something like that. So I hope this was helpful for you. I just, you know, want to remind you, I think the moral of the story is to understand the value of your IP. It's really, really everything that we have as business owners. And even though I just have a small channel nowadays, and even though $85,000 in my hand right now sounds pretty nice, you have to consider the long-term value. Like I said, my business is bigger than just this YouTube channel, but at the same time, my business does have a lot to thank for this YouTube channel. So even though I'm not making tens of thousands of dollars a month via AdSense from this YouTube channel every month, I am getting 90% of my referrals coming from YouTube, which equal out to a lot, you know, more money than just my YouTube AdSense money. So it has value beyond what's just surface level. And I want you guys to think about that for everything that you do. You know, it doesn't have to be YouTube. It could be Instagram. It could be your podcast. It could be a talk that you give. It doesn't just have the value of that hour that you spent doing that talk or preparing that talk. It has the value of you affecting all 50 or 100 people that are sitting in that chair in front of you. So keep that in mind when you're pricing your projects, when you're thinking about the value of your contracts, and don't be afraid to say no. And definitely don't be afraid to ask a lawyer to look over things, because it can save you a lot of trouble, stress, and drama in the long run. So thanks so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful for you. Leave me a thumbs up if it was, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel that I own, that is nobody else's. I look forward to speaking to you later in the week. I'll see you on Wednesday with a new video. Bye.